stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back, get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Into the trends. CLE be the.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my co-host, B. Foster. And today is the Who Will Be King series where we host for the NFC North Division. We got our comrades here representing the Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But before they do that, I want to remind everyone, subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube, and make sure you follow us on the podcast aggregators. Make sure you hit that notification bell so when we drop the content, you'll get an alert, and make sure you download those episodes. We're going to go around the room. I'll start with Pay. You can introduce yourself and let them know where they can find you and your and your shows.
You can find me, Pay, and all my other co-hosts and the merry band of upset Chicago sports fans at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel / podcast. I say podcast because that's what it would be called on the audio side. If you prefer to listen to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and all the such, we can be found right there. Channel is Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel on YouTube. All full shows, audio format is also posted there as well. We got great videos. Check us out there.
Dave, tell the people who you are and where they can find you.
Hey, I'm Dave Stefano, and you can find me at Vikings First and Skull on YouTube, on podcast, any podcast aggregators, over on Fans First Sports Network under Vikings. We have writings there as well. And Facebook, we have a page there as well. So you can communicate. We like to get along with our fans and have them join the conversation. But you can also find me, what you have in the background, at US Bank Stadium, rooting on my Minnesota Vikings.
Foster, I know I introduced you, but go ahead now. Say a few things for the people.
Yeah. B. Foster, the other half of Bleachers to Speakers. We're on YouTube. We're on all audio aggregators. And we also have writing pieces on Fans First Sports Network as well.
Well, we are at week 15. And it doesn't seem like it's been a long season, but we are at week 15. Gentlemen, I want to go around the room. How do you feel so far about your season? I know Pay has a lot to say. You don't? This is what I look forward for. I like to hear what Pay has to say. Win or lose, I like his commentary. So I just Pay, talk to me. You are 4-9, I believe.
Yeah, we're 4-9.
And you new coaching. What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm feeling just like the coach is still there. I feel like the Eberflus era still hasn't ended for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's still a little hangover because it is hard to take over a new team in the middle of the season, especially if you're going from passing game coordinator to offensive coordinator to interim head coach. It's a lot to process. There's a lot of stuff to do. But as far as my feelings on the team, oh my goodness. It's hard to even sum up how I feel about this season, but I'm just how I feel about them right now. It feels like Eberflus may have an axe to grind. I want to blame this loss on him. I know I am certain
this last loss where he wasn't there.
I am blaming him.
Oh, wow.
I know for certain. I don't have the proof. I'm still working on proof. I'm still working on doing my due diligence. But I am certain, 1,000% certain, he called Kyle Shanahan and told him all what we're going to do. I I am resolute in this.
No, Pay.
Like I said, I can't prove it yet. This is this is not don't put me down as, you know, yeah, I said it and it is factually true. Not yet, but I will let you know when I have the proof.
Are you working on proof?
I'm digging deep. I'm putting my journalism hat on, and I'm calling numbers. I might have a source. Might have a source close to the team.
Okay,
but we're gonna get to the bottom of this because stuff got to change.
Okay, well, look at it like this, right? You're 4-9. Playoffs are out the window, but you do have a foundation going next year. You got your starter at quarterback. You got offensive weapons. You guys know what you need to work on. You got some players on defense. Just look at it like that way. And you get a fresh start. And hopefully, who's ever in charge, to be honest, doesn't do as well. So you can just clean house as far as the coaching. You know, you can get rid of the coordinators and just start fresh.
I mean, yeah, that all sounds good. I'm at the point now. We don't know if the players are all that great. I mean,
you have some good players there.
We have some good players. We don't have enough. And
okay, but look at it like this. You got Jalen Johnson. He's a great player. Corner. You have your future quarterback, Caleb. You got Odunze. You have DJ Moore. You got some pieces there. Yeah, you do have some pieces.
That's 4 pieces. 4 pieces.
I'm looking to start somewhere.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You can't build the house without first laying down the first brick. You are very much correct.
Yeah.
But I'm questioning what type of bricks we chose, what type of bricks were chosen, and I'm questioning the mason. I'm questioning the masonry. Yes, that is right. Mr. Ryan Poles, general manager, the cook in the kitchen. We're all circling back to you now. There's something's rancid with the team, and it's got to get cleaned up.
Will they be replacing the general manager as well?
He got the dreaded vote of confidence at that press conference after Eberflus was excused. So it's 50-50. Kevin Warren, you know him best, David. He said Ryan Poles will have final say on the next coaching hire. That is if he makes it that far.
He probably will. He was Warren was with Spielman, and Spielman got multiple chances at it. So I would expect him to stick with Poles.
Did Spielman have 3 consecutive double-digit losing seasons?
No, of course not.
Well, yeah, well.
And you talk about pieces and the mason. You're putting in the window trim, right? With Odunze and all the rest. Mm-hmm. You need the foundation.
Yes.
You need the big horses on the line.
Yeah, you still got free agency, and you still have the draft to get some of those pieces that you get. You got a couple of high drafts. You still can fill some of those pieces in. Like, you have some good players there that can actually improve and embark on what you already have.
My concern is that they use all this cap space and use these high draft picks. So we still have the Carolina Panthers 2nd round pick, which is going to be a top 7-ish pick in the 2nd round. We have our 1st round pick and our high 2nd round pick. My concern, my fear, we use one of those picks on some more window trimmings. We get another hood ornament to put on the car instead of fixing the brakes, fixing the tires, maybe even fixing the alternators. Some of that stuff. That's my issue with Ryan Poles. If I don't even want to even have this fear anymore, let's just excuse this from that variable. Let's just take that variable out. Fire him.
Well,
who would you want to replace him?
I don't know. Somebody who's going to even. If you just tell me that this guy, whoever he is, guy or woman, gender. You don't. The gender. General manager is gender neutral, right? Whomever they are, just promise me that they're going to build the team from the most important on up. no more flashy pieces, no more mismanaging assets, no more trading for players that will soon be out the league and giving away high draft picks. No more of that nonsense that Ryan Poles was up to. If you tell me somebody's going to focus heavily on fixing both the lines on both sides of the ball, hire him. You're already sold me. I'm good right there.
Well, it's not like there's lack of money across the division. We're all rolling into 2025 with chunks of change, including Green Bay, unfortunately, available in free agency. So the best division is just going to get better. And I even believe that for you, Pay.
Yeah. Dave, your team, your Vikings, you're at a remarkable 11-2. Not seeing this at the beginning of the season with those injuries. You guys were hit early with the injury bug with JJ McCarthy going down in preseason. You lost a couple of corners. Let me ask you, how are you feeling about this team right now?
Well, I'm feeling great. Now, we do have some injuries on defense, but they're healing up. We have Pat Jones out, one of our defensive ends in the 3-4 sense, but / edge rusher. We have Gilmore out, one of the corners we brought in. He should be ready to go. And there was a third one on the D that is crucial, a starter that will be back next week as well. The whole team seems to be getting healthier. Plus, they have discovered or figured out how to dominate in a game, as we did last week against the Atlanta Falcons, even though it was close through 3 quarters. It wasn't to the 4th, but we put the pedal to the metal and we demolished them. Our old nemesis, our old pal, our old buddy, Kirk Cousins, came to return, and it was not a glorious return for him. Now, at 11-2, we already blew away what Vegas had for us. They had us at 6.5 wins. We are at 99 points on the point differential. We'll go over 100. You got to be near or around 100 to get into the playoffs and be considered a contender. We are that team. We can beat anybody. I mean, we only lost to you guys by 2 points early in the season. I think that's going to change at the end of the season, but we'll find out. We're still in the race for the division. And I'm happy. I think we're golden. We're dealing with the problem of, should we re-sign Sam Darnold?
Yeah, that's something that you didn't think at the beginning of the season. That he was just looked at as a stand-in for JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, just a simple bridge quarterback, get us, halfway into the season, and we turn it over. Well, that obviously didn't happen because of JJ McCarthy and his meniscus. But now he's playing himself probably out of Minnesota. I don't think we're going to re-sign him, but that's just Dave. There's a whole huge debate over this.
Yeah, as it should be.
Because he's playing elite football at the quarterback position, just elite.
Don't forget about Danny Dimes.
Yeah, and we got Danny Dimes sitting, quote, in the practice squad watching. He's the newest entry into the quarterback reclamation school of Kevin O'Connell, and he should be back next year too, hopefully. I'm betting, but we'll find out. I'm betting Sam Darnold moves on and gets 40-50 million a year after this to some other team. And people are, B. Foster's like,
50 million. Oh my God.
Well,
You've seen the salaries this year.
What's the market?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are guys that have proved for years upon years. That
Love.
Okay, Love is one, but that's a unique situation. There's no backup plan outside of that.
But look at the market.
This is what the market. That's what it is.
2 maybe in the draft, and then for free agents, he'll be the top free agent.
Yeah.
You got maybe 2, 3. How many teams need QBs?
The Raiders would break the
8.
bank and sign Sam Darnold.
That would be sick. That would
Easy.
be
It would
bad.
be. It would be.
But they're probably gonna draft their. I mean, when they're drafting the second pick overall, I don't think they're going to go pay Sam Darnold. They're gonna probably
they're getting Shador.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if that's not available, if they don't get the quarterback they want in the draft, you best believe
There's a market.
they would pay 40 or 50 million for Sam Darnold. They would. He's not saying he's earned it, but the market's going to dictate that he asks for that because of what happened last year with all these signings.
Isn't Dak Prescott getting 60?
65, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is way too much. And Sam Darnold's playing a lot better than Dak Prescott has this year.
I mean, there's some teams that really, really need a quarterback.
But I could be off. You know, we got fans saying, well, sign him to a $25 million contract, at least for a year. Tag him. Tag him's just under 42 million.
Yeah.
Approximately is projected.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think they signed Danny Dimes with the intention of bringing back Sam Darnold.
No.
Right?
No.
I think see, this is them playing 3D chess. This is
the Kevin O'Connell effect.
Right.
We can get Danny Dimes in here. We don't have to break the bank and pay Sam Darnold. And hopefully that JJ McCarthy is ready. And if not, we do have Danny Dimes. And that's where I would project it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly how I view the plan, as we call it, that's going to happen. Now, Danny Dimes' contract right now is only through this season. We expect him to sign on next year to be the backup.
I mean, where else he gonna go?
Yeah. He needs that year under Kevin O'Connell. And his representative, obviously with his direction, purposely, they called Minnesota when he became a free agent.
I'm willing to bet there's a relationship built to where he's not going to look elsewhere, that he's going to believe in what Kevin O'Connell does, and he's going to stay put.
Mm-hmm.
Foster, our beloved Lions, 12-1. How you feeling over there about your team?
I feel like we're the undisputed best team in the league right now. Yeah, we just keep trucking along and making things happen week after week. But I'm excited. I feel like we got some players that are coming back off injuries, and it was really fun to see all the different just hodgepodge of players, defensive players that played last week. We saw Adams, we saw Alexander, we saw, a lot of guys that did not start the year with us, but we just can continue to to push that winning culture, and it's going well.
All right. And you say undisputed. I'm going to, excuse me. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You say undisputed. What if someone says Philly? What if someone says Kansas City? What do you have to say about those teams?
I would
in regards of being the best.
I mean, I would tell them to check DVOA. And I'm pretty sure we are the number one team as far as DVOA is concerned.
And for those who don't know, what is DVOA?
Ooh, Dave should tell. You would think it stands for Dave something, but I think it's they take all things into account as far as strength of schedule and just everything else. And I'm sure it's some super complicated equation or something, but
okay.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's a combination of things.
Dave, can you elaborate?
DVOA is a method of evaluating teams, units, or players. It takes every single play during the NFL season and compares it to each one to a league average baseline per the situation. DVOA measures not just yardage, but yardage towards a first down. 5 yards on a 3rd and 4 are worth more than 5 yards on a 1st and 10, for instance, much more than 5 yards on a 3rd and 12. Performance is also adjusted for the quality of the opponent, right? So DVOA is a percentage. So the team with a DVOA of 10% is 10% better than the average team. And a quarterback with a DVOA of minus 20% is 20% worse than the average quarterback. That's how they work their system. And quarterbacks with DVOA, or because of DVOA measures scoring, defenses are better when they're negative. And obviously, because they're reducing scoring, they're preventing scoring. And then every year there's a normalization. So the average for the year is 0%. And then it's a plus or minus. You're either above average or you're below average. That's how they work it. They also work it per strength of schedule. And that fades off. Your last game will count, or your last four, I think it is, according to Aaron Schatz, 4 or 5 count equal. But once you get to 6 and 7 and 8 games away, they count less in their formula. And it's a very, very comprehensive way to look at football, and it works. And it's been dead on for however long Aaron Schatz has had it. It's been a couple decades, I believe. But it rocks.
That's exactly why I got into podcasting, to talk about math.
But hey, it works. And for, let's see, team DVOA's ranking, number 1, Detroit Lions.
Number 2, Baltimore.
Number 2, Baltimore. 3, Green Bay, which I think is absolutely horse shit.
Wow.
And 4 is Buffalo, 5 is Philly, and 6 is Minnesota.
Kansas City's down there. Kansas City's about what, 8th? What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4.
They are
9.
Wow.
8th.
Yeah.
Whoa. Well,
and Chicago's 24th.
Doesn't
overall team. Right now, they break it down by offense and
Right.
special teams and defense, and they break each of those down further. And they get into blocking. They've got a great blocking system on how they measure blocking, offensive lines and defensive lines, etc. It's a wonderful system.
Those
They
are
got
behind a
more-
paywall, right?
Yeah, it's behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only one that's free is the team total DVA. But behind a paywall, I have a subscription, have had for years. It's wonderful.
I can see that, yeah.
And you get down to special teams. It talks about kickers, kickoffs, field goals, punters, punt returns, kick returns. All that stuff is broken down as per average, and how that affects the special team score, and the special team score is weighed into the team score, and all that. And it works. But overall, number 1, they've got the Detroit Lions, unfortunately.
we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back on the other side, I want to discuss a particular play, controversial play that involves kneeling. So when we get back, we'll talk about that. If you're watching, we'll be back in 10 seconds. If you're listening, you'll hear some wonderful ads from our sponsors. We're back, and before we went to commercial, took a slight break. There was a call this week that Green Bay, and I'm only bringing this up because it involves someone within the division. Green Bay and Detroit played on Thursday night, and there was somewhat of a stir up on one of the last plays of the game. I'll walk you through it. Our quarterback was handing the ball off as he hiked, after the ball was hiked to him. Someone stepped on Goff. Goff winds up hitting a knee to the turf.
That would be Zeitler stepped on him.
Zeitler stepped on it, and he wound up hitting his knee on the way down, but still handing the ball off. The play resulted in a 4th down conversion, and people were upset. people are bringing up the rule book saying that he kneeled or took a knee or his knee was down, so therefore he was down. And from my understanding, there's truths to both sides, but that's not exactly the rule what happened. And I'll let Dave guide us through that particular situation as far as the rules and what the Green Bay fans are fussing about.
Well, they're saying the rule specifically states at the end of the game, and it states like at the end of the game, if the quarterback kneels down, takes a snap and kneels down, he's giving himself up and the ball's dead, right? And we know from watching football, that's the case. We see it all the time in what we call the victory formation.
Victory formation, yes.
Right? And he's killing the clock as soon as he does. But this wasn't that. This wasn't a quarterback stopping the play by kneeling down. This was a quarterback who was making a football move, if you want to steal it from the pass reception side, to hand off. And he just had his foot stepped on and he tripped. Trust me, I've seen quarterbacks' feet stepped on numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ed Ingram. But it does happen. And no, it's not a kneel. As much as Green Bay Packers fans have whined about it all week long.
Crybabies.
That's not what it was. And the officiating crew let the play go like they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the correct result because he was not intending to end the play. It was not a true kneel per se. It's just he fell over and his knee hit the ground. Whoop, big whoop.
It happens a lot where
he was not touched by a Green Bay Packer player, so he couldn't be considered down that way.
It happens a lot when quarterbacks get stepped on, their knee hits, and they've handed the ball off, and you've seen it not being called as kneeling or down or anything else. So it's happened. It's just unfortunate that it happens to your team on 4th and 1, and you were just hoping that it would be. But, quit whining and stop the run. That's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to do.
Hey, our other team in the division, the Green Bay Packers, they had a rough week. They lost to you guys 34-31. And they have been whining about it all week. They've been complaining about the officiating, and the officiating's been bad all season. I think we all can agree to that. But it's bad going both directions. So it is what it is. They got beat.
Yeah, I blame about 8 of our losses on officiating.
It's been bad.
It's been bad.
The coach should have your job then. It's not the coach's fault. It's the refs.
Well, we can't fire the refs, so.
Well, bring Eberflus back and just have him complain about the reffing, and it'll get better.
Well, see, he didn't complain about the refs enough. Got to go.
Foster, I got to get out of here. You guys continue to have a great show. I'll take care of everything else afterwards, boss.
Drive safe, Jim.
All right. So we've talked about all the games from last week, right?
Yep.
All right.
Unless you want to get into them more.
Oh. Well, yeah. Well, we didn't really touch on the Packers game that much outside of the play, outside of that one play. But just to kind of wrap up that game as a whole, this game ultimately did live up to the hype. This was our second of 2 consecutive games on Thursday night, correct?
Yes.
Because you had Thanksgiving and then this one.
Yeah. So yeah, everything's been out of whack as far as that's concerned, with us having those games. Because normally you got that quick game coming back up on Thursday, and then you get the long break on the other end. But we got 2 Thursday games in a row, and it was a very physical game. I knew it was going to come down to the trenches and the defensive line versus offensive line on both ends of the ball. And Josh Jacobs had a great game. I think he ended with 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns in the game. And that's something that we kind of talked about, how running backs are having a resurgence of seasons and
Good
Josh.
one.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, Josh Jacobs did not disappoint. We did a pretty good job on Jordan Love outside of one long pass in the second half, which is pretty prototypical of the Packers. They usually come out swinging in the second half. But we pretty much held Jordan Love at bay for the most part. And then Jared Goff had a pretty solid game as well. He had 1 bad interception, which could have affected us, but ultimately we made the plays that were necessary. And kind of a couple controversial calls on both ends, which of course the Packers fans have complained about. But in the end, the Lions win the series. They win both games this year, and we are first in the division, 12-1. So,
And your running back set a record.
Elaborate, because I don't even know.
Gibbs and Montgomery made history for the first Detroit duo to score 12 plus scrimmage touchdowns from scrimmage this in a season.
12 plus touchdowns
Each.
12 each. Okay, yeah.
Each.
And I think whoever the Bears snapped our rushing touchdown streak last week, actually, but still found a way to make some history.
Speaking of records, greatest wide receiver in NFL history, or the best, set another record.
Randy Moss still playing?
Right.
7,000 yards in under 5 seasons.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You said Jefferson's the best of all time?
He's going to be when he ends up, but no, the best presently in the league.
I can go with that.
Oh, we've discussed what it's going to take to get to Randy Moss and Jerry Rice records. It's going to take a long career to get those, but he's working on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's about halfway there.
Addison had a pretty good week last week.
Oh, yes, he did. 3 tutties and 133 yards. Jefferson had 2 tutties and 132 yards. Sam Darnold he was on fire. And they were too. And the defense for the Falcons, their cornerbacks kept losing sight of the receivers, falling down. Hey, it happens.
All right.
Touchdowns.
So moving forward on to week, 15?
15.
Yeah.
Who is the first?
4 games left.
Yeah. So let's start with the Bears. Who do you guys have this week?
Hello, Dave.
Yeah. We're on Monday night. We should be the last one called.
Oh, okay. You're the last one. Okay. All right.
First game of the week is you guys hosting Buffalo.
Yes.
That's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, so we can start there. The Buffalo Bills are sitting very comfortably at the top of their division. They are 10-3. They were going into the game with a 7-game winning streak, which was snapped by the LA Rams. I almost called them the St. Louis Rams. But yeah, in a very close game where they gave up how many points?
Final score was 44-42.
Mm-hmm.
44-42. Yeah.
No, when June set up the conversation about Goff's knee, I really thought he was talking about the end of game decisions from this game, the Bills versus the Rams. They had controversial knees as well.
Okay, yeah, elaborate, because I didn't catch that.
Well, I mean, most of the discussion is just about why did you call the quarterback run while he was in the red zone? I mean, if they were down enough points at that point in the game. I think it was under a little more than a minute left. They had all 3 timeouts left. And Sean McDermott called a quarterback run for Josh Allen, who was having the greatest game, at least for fantasy football purposes. He was having a great game. He ended up with 6 total touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 through the air and 3 on the ground.
Right. So I mean, that's a bread and butter play. Yeah, just let Josh Allen run it on the goal line, right? But yeah, but you need to score a touchdown, get the onside kick, and then score again. So the controversy was, yeah, you got to throw that ball. You got to save your timeouts. You can't risk not converting here and having that clock run. So the clock runs, you burn the timeout. This is a whole thing.
Yes. So now the Buffalo Bills are coming to Detroit, and it should be a pretty good game. The Bills, when I look at the Bills, they personnel wise, they don't have a whole lot that jumps out at me. But when I look at things, this does seem like a team that plays the way they need to play. They do a great job of protecting Josh Allen. This is another team that they're actually first in the league in sacks allowed, and they're also number 1 at turnover differential. So this is a team that protects the quarterback, takes the ball away at a high clip, and also protects the ball at a high clip. So despite the fact they don't have eye-gouging numbers as far as passing the ball, running the ball, they don't sack the quarterback at a high clip. This is a team that that is winning games because they don't make a lot of mistakes. As far as areas that pose a threat to Detroit, I would definitely say the fact that Josh Allen is a running quarterback. He's 8th in the league in rushing yards as far as quarterbacks are concerned. We're coming off a game where we were somewhat susceptible to the run. James Cook is having a pretty good year thus far. He's got 11 touchdowns, and he's got a 4.66 yards per carry. So another game that is going to come down to protecting the ball and owning the line of scrimmage. This is also a team that plays strong on the red zone on both ends of the field. So I anticipate another tough game in Detroit. Luckily, we're not dealing with the elements of all the snow. I don't know if they got snow in Buffalo this week, but we know it's that time of year where they tend to have a lot of snow. So,
they got indoors at your place.
Yes. So we don't have to deal with that. And they got some nice weapons. They got a nice tight end. They got they went out and got Amari Cooper at the trade deadline. They got Khalil Shakir, who's having a pretty good year. So just a solid team. They're playing in a pretty weak division. So they haven't. I don't know if they've been tested to the way that a lot of the teams in our division have, but should be another tough, close ball game. Moving on, who
for DVOA, they've got the 2nd ranked offense.
You're right.
10th ranked defense.
You're right. I did see that. I didn't see the defensive one, but as far as the ranking, they are 4th. So, yeah,
they're going to be a test.
Absolutely, and I agree. I think that, like I said, this is a team that plays the way they need to play, and this is not one of those games that I anticipate to be just going through the motions. I think we got a target on our back anyway. So even against the not so good teams, I think that they're going to try to put their best foot forward if they can. So
now you've got a 3rd ranked defense and a 4th ranked offense.
Yeah.
Per DVOA.
As far
number 1 overall, but it's going to be close. It's going to be a game. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, Josh Allen is just a guy that just seems like he will pose a threat against us. So,
and we get to watch each other's games this week.
right? Because you guys are the prime time one. But before that, who do the Green Bay Packers? Does anybody know who they
Yep.
got this week?
They're going out to Seattle for Sunday night. Your game's in the afternoon. You've got a 3:25 game, 4:25 for you guys. And then the Sunday night game is the Packers out at Seattle. Seattle's battling to win their division. And I'm hoping the Sea Chickens eat some Packers cheese.
Yeah.
I don't often root for the Seahawks, but yeah, I definitely am all for them getting a hold of Green Bay this week.
You talked about teams that haven't been tested, B. Foster. The Seattle Seahawks, they're not one of those teams. They're one game ahead of the Rams in their division. They're 2 games ahead of the 49ers. I think they're 1 game ahead of the Cardinals as well. They've fought to get that minuscule lead. They are battle tested. They're ready to go. I don't know about the Packers as far as like, can they actually win tough games? As you saw last week, they lost to you guys in a close battle, and the last time they lost before that, they got absolutely embarrassed on their home field against you guys. As far as tough games, I don't know if they've won any tough games this season. So this is definitely going to be one of those drag out brawls, because Seattle, they don't lay down. They're not the most flashy. They've dealt with a lot of injuries. DK is having a down season. Kenneth Walker's hurt. But Geno and the guys that are there, they get it done. JSN is having a breakout season. Jackson Smith-Njigba, their second-year wide receiver. Their defense is held tough. They're not the Legion of Boom of old, but they've held tough. And I kind of like them this game. In fact, I'm not even going to hope. I think Seattle got something in store for those Green Bay neighbors.
Their defense is their best unit. They're ranked 9th on DVOA.
Oh yeah, because their offense is
opportunistic.
Yeah, let's say that. That's a nice way to say it. I want to keep the good vibes going for Seattle. Let's call it let's call it opportunistic. They get it done when they have to. But their defense has snuffed out San Francisco, snuffed out Arizona, and they've won. Like I said, they've won enough games close to handle their business. I can make a lot more. I can make a better argument for Seattle winning this game against Sunday Night Football than I could for the Packers.
But we'll be watching.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna get to the final game of the week. All right, we've saved the best for last. We got the Minnesota Vikings against the Chicago Bears, and I'm going to let you guys take it away. Who wants to set it off?
So the Bears try once again to break their long losing streak. This time we face the Minnesota Vikings, a rematch from a game we played a few weeks back. I think the weekend before the Thanksgiving holiday. That game, if you recall, the Bears lost 30-27 in overtime. Questionable defense, questionable coaching decisions marred the end of that game. But it was a fantastic, resilient effort from the team that as they were down multiple scores late in the fourth quarter. Before I say how I think my team would do, I'll let Dave, just go ahead, Dave. How do you feel going into this game?
I think it's going to be wonderful. Minnesota's putting on a show. It will be a winter whiteout. The whole stadium's going to be decked in white. There'll be fake snow coming from the ceiling. The team will be wearing their new Winter Warrior white uniforms, which are absolutely sick looking. They are beautiful. Compare those to the quote whiteout for Green Bay Packers. And I can tell you, it's not even close. Ours dominate and will absolutely rock. The whole town gets into the whiteout festivities, and it's just going to be the Bears coming in to get slaughtered on the night. They've already checked out for all intents and purposes. They're going to come in there, lay over, and Minnesota should win easily by 2 full scores, at least by 14 points.
Because you're wearing white uniforms?
Oh, no, because we're playing top-level football, baby.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't disagree that, you guys look better in your uniforms than the Packers, and I don't disagree that you all are playing top-level football. Those two things are closest thing to fact that you can possibly have in a football discussion, right? However, I think the Bears, I don't think they're ready to lay down just yet. I mean,
they had 2 yards of offense last week in the first half.
You got to have a short
starting point, a floor.
No. You got to have a short memory with certain things like that, especially being a professional athlete. I think the week that the Bears had, the 10 days leading up to that game, it was just so much confusion, so much chaos. And then going on a fairly long road trip, right? It did not equate to the best circumstances that you would want to put out there on tape. Now, excusing that for a team that we don't see often, we do see the Vikings pretty often. There's a definite understanding about what you all present versus what we're going to get out from the Kyle Shanahan team. There's the difference. The Bears, with more focus this week, because again, as I was saying, you had a lot going on the prior 10 days before San Francisco 49ers game. You had a coach fired, a lot of confusion about who's getting promoted and whose job is what, this, that, and the third. It's a lot to do.
But normally there's a bounce.
There is a bounce. Normally you have one guy being promoted who's been in his position the whole season. Thomas Brown had just got promoted 3 weeks ago, and now he's in the top seat. That's a lot to carry on your backpack.
Yeah, but you didn't have the bounce that was anticipated. That's what I'm saying.
I just explained why they didn't have the bounce. It's a little delayed.
Oh, is that it?
It's a little delayed.
It has nothing to do with the players already making tee times for January or plane trips down to Cancun.
They could have disappeared for the season. I mean, I'm not going to excuse that. That could be out there. But based on what everything they've said going into that game, everyone said two-way, man, oh, this is a great week of practice. The vibes are better. That Eberflus clown is out the door. Everyone was in upbeat spirits. So I can't fully get on that train of thought just yet. Just going off of what I'm.
We'll wait till next week.
Yeah, yes, Dave. Yes, you have to believe people first when they tell you something, and then you let them show you if what they say is backed up by their actions, right? If they come back out again and it looks bad, then we can have a further discussion about if the team is ready to say how yeah, right. But as of right now, I will push it further down the road, and I would say that the new coach boost that we're all looking for, at least I am, is a little delayed just because based on one, Thomas Brown going from passing coordinator to offensive coordinator to head coach. He had to come out the booth, which I thought he was perfect at, but he had to be on the sidelines. A little different. A lot of people don't understand that the difference that takes. That is a definitely different. Just the position, right? You being on the sideline, you don't get that eagle-eye view of what you need to do. That's one thing. Second thing is now he has to be a supervisor. He needs to be. He's not creating the game plan throughout the week. Chris Beatty is, who was the wide receivers coach. Now he's promoted to the offensive coordinator. There, you have to do figuring out the perfect work plan around this. He's supervising the defense, what they got going on, supervising offense, special teams. It was just a confusing week, and I think that helped. Well, that spoke to most of the Bears just being trash on Sunday. Come next Monday, well, this Monday coming up, I think the Bears with a familiar opponent, a lot more stuff figured out, a lot more grounded. We should have a better result, better showing than what we put out there for everybody to see in San Francisco. Now, as far as the game itself, the result, do I think the Bears will win this game? They've already lost 7 in a row. I can no longer say, you know what, this is the week. This is the week that we do it. I would not be shocked if the Bears lose out. I would not be shocked if the Bears end this season 4-13. They've shown me nothing to believe that they could actually win the game. They've shown me that they can play well. They've shown me that they just don't have that clutch gene. I haven't looked at the lines yet, but if I would assume that the Bears are probably in the neighborhood of a 6-point dog.
Well, it started when I sent you Monday. It was 6.5.
Yeah, 6. That sounds fair. The Bears are probably. If I was to put money on it right now, I would take the Vikings to win by 7.
All right, there you have it. You gonna say something?
Well, I was about to say that would be generous. If it's 7, I'm gonna throw a flag and piss and moan at what the hell went wrong with the Vikings.
Those division games are tough, Dave.
I fully agree with that. They are tough. And obviously the first game was tough. You drove us to overtime. I just think we found something. We turned a switch and we're just balls to walls right now. We are peaking in December, which is the perfect time to peak as a team.
We had talked about, I think the last time we were doing a game preview for the Vikings, the first game on the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. We had pointed out that there was a correlation between when Cam Robinson went down, or not Cam Robinson, but Darisaw. When Darisaw went down and the offense slowing down a little bit. It looks like you all picked it back up this past weekend. What was it? 5 touchdowns you said with Darnold?
5 thrown with Darnold and then 1 run in with Aaron Jones.
Right. So maybe it would be just our luck if you all figured it back out right when we was back on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I am looking forward to this follow-up show. I'll cut you off again. What were you going to say, Dave?
Oh, I say at least it's going to look pretty. We're in the holiday season and we're going to get the winter ride out, so it's going to look nice on ABC, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that wraps up another week of NFC North coverage. We can start with Dave. What you got coming up this week, and where can they find you?
Well, tonight we have Sculptures and Spice with Sally Spice. She has a guest, SK. Sean will come on. He's from Purple and Scolded Media Network. And he's going to come on. They're going to talk about how Sam Darnold had 5 touchdowns in Sunday's game. And we're going to celebrate another Victory Tuesday. And then after that, tomorrow, we'll break down the Bears game, or at least part of the Bears game, maybe, on the Real Forno Show. Real Forno Show will definitely do it because we'll have the pre-show game on next Monday prior to the game. And then we'll have 2 bloggers on the weekend and another Sculptures and Spice in between. And we may have a other podcast-only show in between that. We'll find out. Find us on Vikings First and Skull, YouTube, and podcast.
Hey.
On the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, we do have Pay Dirt coming to you live. Well, premiering tomorrow, as usual. That is our sports football gambling show. Me and B Dirt, my co-host, who's from the Running Through the Jungle podcast channel. That's always on Wednesdays. You can catch me more episodes dropping Friday. The preview for the next game for the Bears. That will drop Friday morning, and then we got the homies 2 hours of power, which is a all-encompassing sports show, and with a little bit of bend to the AFC North. That's all Friday afternoon. And we also have the Bulls, another episode for them coming out tomorrow as well. Well, Thursday. So all good stuff. Maybe Jewel Lloyd, who's asked for a trade from the Seattle Storm. Should the Chicago Sky get into that? Find out what we think.
Hey, do you guys have a post-game show?
We have a post-game rant.
Okay.
No full show. We just put out our emotions out there. It's mostly been tears lately, but that also hits on Sundays. Yes. It can't be frustrated if you don't show the frustration, right?
Exactly.
Got to be true to brand. But yeah, lastly, please subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. That is where all of our visuals take place. We finally cracked 200 and we on our way to 300.
Shout out to Chief Keef.
Yeah, shout out to Chief Keef, Chicago. But yeah, outside of that, we will have a Tiger show coming up. We made our first significant, semi-significant free agent selection this week.
You got a pitcher, I saw.
We got a veteran right-handed pitcher. So me and Coach will have a show breaking all that down, as well as everything else going on in the winter meetings. We'll have a Piston show later on this week as well. And then, of course, a pregame and postgame show covering the Buffalo Bills game on Sunday. Tune in. We're out of here.